So welcome back to my channel. This is Gamer Dom and another touchy subject in the world of tanks, matchmaking. Yeah. So how screwed is matchmaking? What do you reckon? There was this massive fanfare. I don't remember this. This was 918 when it came in. All the fanfare was around improved matchmaking, changing matchmaking. This went along with the changes that were being made to light tanks, so they no longer got scout matchmaking. They were treated as everything else. They got ruined largely, apart from the premiums that all got super buffs because they suddenly became better tanks when they hadn't, because they weren't changed any other way. Anyway, that's irrelevant. 918 introduced improved inverted commas matchmaking. So this was what they said. Spoke at length about improved matchmaking. Builds two teams with several key criteria in mind. Its goal is to get you a quick battle and make sure the two teams are assembled compatible in their aggregate combat parameters, whatever that means, diverse in vehicle types and versatile enough to provide an engaging gaming environment, and balanced in the way that both sides have a chance of victory. Okay, now to be fair, it doesn't say that you should get a share of being top tier and bottom tier and middle tier, but that's kind of what you hope with matchmaking, right? If you are always bottom tier, it's soul destroying, depending on the vehicle you're in, right? Some vehicles can handle it better than others. So they're saying they look at creating a battle using +2 battle using the template of 3, 5, 7. So 3 top tier, 5 middle, 7 bottom. So I don't know about you guys, but I virtually, even with the changes that they're supposed to have brought in 919, I hardly ever see that ideal. Maybe 25% of the games, 33% of the games, something like that. Most of them are either entire games of all the same tier like this, or that sort of matchup, 5 and 10. So 919, they announced, the patch we just had, they said, we're making some changes to decrease the number of 1 and 2 battles in favour of 3, 5, 7s. Okay. Can't say I've noticed it extensively yet, but, you know, we'll give them a chance. Actually, this was a selection of tier 5 games I just played the last few days. Let's have a look at the split here. Okay, so I recognise this isn't a proper sample, but here we go, all tier 5s. We've got 5 tier 6s, the rest tier 5s, so again, bottom. We finally get a 353, but we're middle. Again, 6s, 5 6s and the rest tier 5, so we're bottom tier again. 353, again, not tier though, not top tier. So that's twice we've had this so far. This time 6s and 5s, again, bottom tier again. What have we got here? 6s and actually this is 7s, so we're proper bottom tier. 353s. This one's 6s and 5s. All 5s. This one, so this is, I tried something different. I thought, what about a premium tank? Get a 6-5 game. So I tried again, tried something different. This time went in the artillery, all 5s. Tried something different, went the Chinokai, all 5s. This one is an assault game, again 6s and 5s. Again, tried a different tank, Wolverine, and this time in the Wolverine, all 5s. Can see a theme here, right? And this was the last one I forgot to do, a screen grab, type T34, all tier 5. So again, yeah, where's my top tier? Now to be fair, it does say the change will be more noticeable at tier 8 to 10, so this 357 system. Yes, certainly is. Whenever I take a tier 8 out, I get a tier 10 game. Almost every single time. Yeah, thanks very much, Wargaming, for that one. Anyway, the reason for doing this video was, I don't know whether anybody noticed this. I have to confess, this one completely passed me by because it was just a big graph and I don't really read these sort of things. So this was a thing that Daily Bants put up around matchmaking in 918. So this was the upgraded matchmaking system. And my Mucker Pixie Pincher pointed this out to me. And I hadn't really appreciated it. So if you play a lot of tier 5 games, and let's be honest, tier 5 is kind of fun tier. I quite enjoy playing a lot of tier 5s down there. Pretty much all your tanks have had a nerf. Nobody's ever noticed, nobody's ever pointed out that there's a nerf, but they've been nerfed. That's because of this. The biggest change is the fact that tier 3 tanks no longer fight tier 5s. So by inference, tier 5s never fight tier 3s. Given the fact tier 5s, if they are ever going to be top tier, so 3, 5, remember 3, 5, 7, it means they will never be top tier because they can never fight tier 3s. And that would be, if tier 5 was top tier in the 353 system, you'd have 3 tier 5s, you'd have 5 tier 4s, and the rest tier 3s. But tier 3s can no longer fight tier 5s. So tier 5s have had a complete nerf because suddenly the games where they were going to be top tier have disappeared. They are never going to see those things. So it means tiers 1, 2 and 3 have a +1 and -1 matchmaking, which is good for those sort of vehicles. Tier 4s get a -1 and a +2, except for heavy tanks that have a +1/+1. Well, I think there is only one tier 4 heavy tank, isn't there? Isn't that the Japanese thing, which is a pile of poo? So let's have a look at this in a little. Let me blow this up a bit so you can see this a little bit clearer. So here you are, tier 5. You roll out in your tier 5 TD. Say you take your T20, T76, T70, yeah, T67 even. God bloody hell, dyslexic with numbers or what? You're a tier 5 TD, which means you will see tier 6s and tier 7s. But because tier 3s can never see tier 5s, see, nothing here, your tier 5 TD will never meet tier 3s. Never meet them. It'll meet tier 4s, but never tier 3s. So it means all this class of tier 5s have all been nerfed because they no longer have the opportunity to be top tier and fight against tier 3s. And let's be honest, a tier 5 against tier 3 is a bit of a one-sided affair. And you could argue that's actually the best thing that should happen. But I haven't seen anybody write about this or talk about this anywhere else. So that seems extraordinary. Now the other thing I've noticed, and I talked about this briefly in one of my other videos. Oh, sorry, yeah, actually it means all the tier 5 premiums, KV220, the Churchill 3, Matilda 4, I won't worry about the other ones, they have all been nerfed as well, haven't they? Because they're no longer going to be fighting. Well, the only top tier games they're going to get now are when they're in an entire match of tier 5s, or they're in a 5-10 game. So there's 5 tier 5s and everything else is tier 4s. That's the best matchmaking they'll ever get. So again, all these premiums have been nerfed. So yeah, nobody, Wargaming didn't point this one out, did they? So my other bugbear, and I did talk about this in one of the other videos, and I think this I picked up watching somebody else's video. I think it was Klaus' video. He talked about this briefly in one of his games. So the secret nerfing of tanks. So he maintained that one of his buddies had kept a record of all the battles he'd fought in the Object 252U, the Defender, that supposedly OP tier 8 Russian heavy tank, premium tank. He'd kept records of all the battles he fought, and he had something like, and he played something like 300, 500 games, something like that. So not a massive statistical thing, but you know, pretty good indication. and he barely crossed 30% being top tier. Every other game, pretty much, he was either in tier 9 or a tier 10 game. And then when he played the IS-6, now okay, the IS-6 gets preferential matchmaking, but it's still a tier 8 heavy tank. He got top tier, so he was the top tier class in 60% of his games. Now, do you think that Wargaming looked at the stats of the object and went, "Ooh, it's doing too good, isn't it? Everyone's going to moan like old bitches. Well, let's secretly nerf it by making sure that it has a much lower percentage of getting matchmaking that is top tier"? Conspiracy? I think so. Certainly, it's my experience. When I roll out in the Defender, it's a rarity if I get top tier, and if I do, it's one of those games where every tank is a tier 8. So I'd love to know what you guys think. I know that Wargaming are huge watchers of stats. They keep a really good job of monitoring what is going on in the world of tanks and how tanks are performing. And that's how they decide whether certain tanks need modifications, nerfs, boosts of any kind. It's just looking at the raw data across all the different servers. So I'm pretty sure they do the same thing with premium tanks. And this is part of the problem with premium tanks. They don't test them. I know they do the super tests and all that kind of stuff, but why the hell do they not put premium tanks up on the test server so that we can all try them out? Because it will be pretty quickly apparent which ones are, seriously OP. Because you can guarantee whenever you put them in new premium up on the test server, every battle you go in will be fighting against all of them. There'll be, if the Chrysler had gone up, it would have been an entire team of Chryslers on each side. And at least they would have a decent pool of performance. What tends to happen is they do these super tests, which is, I don't know how many people are in the super test, but not many. They play a few games, they tinker around the edges, they launch it. There's a big outcry because it's either crap or it's too good, and then if it's crap, they boost it, and then they boost it again if it's still crap. If they nerf it, they go, "Oh dear me." If it's OP, they go, "Oh dear me, never mind." And they say, like they're doing with the Defender, "We're not going to sell it for a while." Never say never, because mutant. But they're going to just sort of hide it away in the garage and bring it out every so often to make more money. Why the hell don't they just stick the premiums up on test server, let everyone play with them, look at how they perform, and then decide what they're going to do with them then? Save an awful lot of heartache, wouldn't it? Anyway, I'd love to know what you think about matchmaking. Maybe I'm being, having a bit of conspiracy theory here, but to me, well, I'm surprised about this tier 5 nerfing. To me, that's a huge thing for people who play lower mid tiers, which I count myself in. I think I play most of my games in tier 5 to 8s, and tier 5s have just got worse because they're not able to fight tier 3s anymore. Now Converse is good because tier 3s, where the beginners tend to be, are not going to be fighting tier 5s. But then isn't there things like the Panzer 3J sitting out there? How much are they licking their lips because they're not going to have to deal with tier 5s anymore? But conversely, they're unlikely to get a whole tier game. They're unlikely to get everything that is the same tier as them or lower. So let me know down below what your experiences are with the new matchmaking. I personally never thought I'd say it, but I'm actually dreaming of the previous matchmaking. I think it's far better, far balanced, far easier to, the fact you just seem to get a better balance of being top tier. This new matchmaking that came in 918 and seems to have been supposedly refined in 919, it just doesn't give you top tier anymore. Very, very rarely. There just aren't enough games where you're top tier, and it's sucks your enthusiasm, particularly when you are in stock vehicles or in some of the more statistically challenged tanks, shall we say, the crap ones, that you're having to grind through, because at least occasionally in those tanks you used to get a top tier game and then it didn't matter so much. At least you were fairly competitive, whereas you try taking, I don't know, a UDES tier 8 Swedish TD out with its stock gun in a tier 10 game. Good luck. And you got to play a lot of games to unlock that top gun on that thing. Yeah. So I don't think it's conspiracy. I think the matchmaking's a lot worse. I think this tier 5 nerf is a real shocker, and thanks for Pixie for pointing that out. I hadn't appreciated it. But let me know what you think down below. Are you happy with matchmaking? What do they need to do with it? How do they change it? I did see a comment, and I couldn't find it for this video, but I did see a comment where someone had said that they were thinking about making some changes to matchmaking to have a sort of separate classification of super heavy tanks. So things like the Type 5 Heavy and the Mouse, they'll be treated as a separate classification, which again makes sense, because if you've got a team and you've got 3 top tier tanks, they're all top tier tier 10s and they're all Mouse, and your team is all sort of one of those lighter type heavy tanks, and it's a city map, good luck. Good luck. So yeah, there you go. That's my thoughts. Let me know down below. I'd love to know your thoughts. What do you think about matchmaking? How do you experience? Is anybody keeping records of the games they're playing? Love to know what you're seeing in terms of stats. I haven't got the discipline, but I'm going to try and keep records from now on, just to see what I get and how it works out. And obviously I'll report that back probably in Rambles on the Thursday, then I put that out. So anyway, thanks for watching. Enjoy your games, have fun, try not to take it too seriously. It is just a game after all. And if you enjoyed this video, click like, and if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel. Thanks very much for watching. See you again soon, guys. Gamer Dom out.